Hello, my wonderful second graders. I am back with another math lesson for you, and actually this will be the last official math lesson. Of course, we can always do some more reteaching if we need it, and if anybody feels like they need something extra, but this is going to be our last official math lesson. And that's because we really made it through all of our units 1 through 9 in our math program. So good job to you guys. This is actually not part of our math program, but I thought you guys could handle it because I know how smart you are and I know how hard you've been working. So I think you can do it, okay? So stick with me. Now, Mrs. Demas had just done a lesson, hopefully you already watched it, on multiplying by zeros, ones, and twos, okay? So anything times 0 is what? Right, 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Anything times 1 is the other number you're multiplying it by, right? Because it's just one group of that number. Cool. And anything times 2, you're just going to count by 2s that many times. So we're going to start, that's going to be our warm-up today from the last one. And then today, I'm going to show you how to multiply by 5s, 10s, and you would get a bonus one because you're so smart, 11s, okay? All right, so let's start with warming our brains up and going by multiplying by zeros, okay? So go ahead, if you don't know this already, I think you do. But if you don't know already, you need a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen, a marker, a whiteboard, a chalkboard, a napkin, whatever you can find to write on, okay? So you can write along with me. So if you don't have what you need in terms of your supplies, please pause the video and go grab it now, okay? All right, here are our first problems. All right, are you ready? Your first problem here. 0 times 2. Yeah, if you see that 0, the answer is 0 because it means there are no groups of 2. So 4 times 0, right, it's 0. There are 4 groups of 0. Draw 4 groups of nothing is nothing, right? 10 times 0 is... You got it. 0. That's right. Good job to you. How'd that smiley face get there? Very good. So anything times 0 or 0 times anything means there are no groups of that number. Okay? We are going to work on our ones next. Remember, keeping in mind that we're warming our brains up from a review from what Mrs. Demas already taught us. Okay? And... okay, here we go. We have your first problem here. I'm going to read it to you so you can write it down before I show it, okay? 1 times 7. 1 times 7. So that means one group of 7. Now, just for kicks, even if you know the answer already, I'm going to do that out. One group with 7 in the group. So here's one group. I'm going to put 7 little guys in there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have one group with 7 in my group. How many total guys do I have inside? 7. So anything times 1 is just that other number because you just have one group of it, okay? So 23 times 1 is your next problem. Go ahead and take a minute to write that down. But Mrs. Green, we already know how to do it. Do we really have to write it down? Yes, you do. 23 times 1 would mean you have one group with 23 in it. That would just still be, right, 23. 14 times 1 is your third problem here. 14 times 1. Right, one group of 14 or 14 groups of 1 is just still 14. Very good. By the way, second graders, as I write my next grouping here, which is going to be 2s to finish warming up our brain, the answer to a multiplication problem is called a product Can you say that with me? Product. A product. So that's the answer to a multiplication problem. So the answer to an adding problem is what? Think. The answer to an adding problem is that's it, the sum. The answer to a subtraction problem is called the difference. And the answer to a multiplication problem is called the product. Okay? Very good. I wanted to point that out to you. All right, ready for twos? Of course, Mrs. Green, we are rocking it. Duh. All right. Our first problem is 2 times 8. Two times 8 is going to be our first one. I'm going to grab a different color here. Jazz it up a little bit. All right, and we're going to find the products to our multiplication problems, okay? So let me turn here so I can show you a little better. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. So 2 times 8 means 2 groups of 8, okay, or 8 groups of 2. Now you can count by 2s 8 times. So let's try that method first, that strategy, okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I counted by 2s 8 times and I got 16. Times 2 is also showing you the doubles facts. So it's 2 8s. Well, 8 plus 8 is 16. Remember, multiplication is just repeated adding. So it's adding 8 together 2 times. So this is really the same thing as 8 plus 8. Okay. Or you can think of 2 groups, if you were to draw a picture, 2 groups, and put 8 in each group. And if you were to count all of those dots up, you'd get 16. Those are your strategies, okay? So you can think, count by 2s 8 times, put 2 groups, draw 8 in each group, or you can think to double this number using your doubles facts. 8 plus 8 is 16, okay? Let's look at the next one, 10 times 2, to get our product, okay? 10 times 2. Now, I can count by 2s 10 times. I can draw 2 groups and put 10 in each. Okay. Or I can think 10 plus 10. Whatever strategy you choose here, write that answer down. Did you get it? That's right, it's 20. Very good. Notice over here, I kind of grouped my tallies up by 5s. Make it nice and organized. All right, 4 times 2. Again, you can think 4 plus 4, or 2 groups of 4, right? Or count by 2s 4 times. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's right. Very good. All right, so that's a review. Okay, that's a review from Mrs. Demas's lesson that you hopefully already watched. And that lesson should have hopefully showed you the 0s, 1s, and 2s. Okay, so here today our new stuff is going to be to show you 5s, 10s. Sorry, I'm trying to move my phone so you can see me well. Can you see me? Okay. 5, 10s, and 11s, okay? So when we're talking about 5s, the cool thing about 5s, and I'm going to do the first one here, okay? Any multiplication problem, go ahead and write this down, 5 times 4. When you're looking for the product and you see the number 5 in it, you know that you can count by 5s. That's a skill you've been practicing since kindergarten, okay? And the reason you start practicing counting by 5s that early when you're little is to prepare you for multiplication, which is kind of cool. You didn't know that at the time, but we're really preparing you to multiply. So when we count by 5s, we do it 4 times. Are you understanding why it's called 5 times 4? Because you're counting by 5s 4 times. Oh, it all makes sense. Okay, so we're going to have 5s, right, that we're counting by. We're going to have 4 groups of them. 5, 10, 15, 20. That's my product or my answer. Now, you can absolutely still make arrays. Make 5 groups. Okay. Whoa, there's my 5. Put 4 in each group. And count them up. You can also go I'm going to switch colors, okay? Go the opposite way, because in multiplication, just like addition, you can switch these numbers around and the product or the answer will stay the same. So 5 times 4 is the same as 4 times 5. Okay, it's the same. So when you look at this here, friends, okay, I can also make a picture that has 4 circles or 4 groups with 5 in each group. And that's actually a great way, because this way you can see me counting by 5s. Check it out. 5, 10, 15, 20. Are you with me? Now, you can save yourself the picture. You don't have to draw the picture. Okay? You can also make an array. Oh my gosh, so many things we could draw to help us. So many strategies. I'm going to make it over here, okay? So I can put 5 X's. And I'm going to make 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So I could draw an array. Whoa. A bit of a messy array. Okay? And then I could simply count 5, 10, 15, 20. Look at this board filled up here. These are tons of different strategies. So understand, just like with addition and subtraction, multiplication has lots of different strategies, okay? And lots of different ways you can solve the answers. So when you look at times 5, you're really multiplying by 5s is saying you're counting by 5s, whatever the amount is that the other number tells you to. Let me say that again, okay? When you multiply by 5s, you're counting by 5s, whatever the other number in the problem is telling you to count how many 5s, okay? So let's try another one. And this time I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, okay? I'm going to say 8 times 5. Go ahead and write that down. 8 times 5. That means that I'm going to count by 5s 8 times. Now, I also like to show you this because sometimes using our fingers can get confusing, okay? Or if it's bigger than 10, we run out of fingers. So then what, do you start on your toes, your ears, your nose, right? So we want to make sure that we don't run out. So we're going to count by 5s 8 times, and we're going to put a tally mark for each time, okay? So I'm going to put 8 tallies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Draw 8 tallies for me. Now I'm going to count by 5s, and every time I count by 5s, I'm going to circle the tally. That's going to get me my answer. You ready? Because I have 8 tallies here. 8. 8 groups. I'm going to say 5 for each group. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. What's our answer? 40. So I drew kind of a quick 8 groups or 8 just tallies, lines, and then I circled every time I counted by 5s. It'll help you stay on track. Let's try that method again, that strategy again. Okay, here's your next problem. 6 times 5. Okay, 6 times 5. Write it down. Okay, so I'm going to count by 5s 6 times. So I'm going to draw 6 smiley faces this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because there's my 6 groups. Now I'm going to count by 5s 6 times. Okay, I'm going to circle each one. Are you with me? Do you need a second to draw your smiley faces or whatever you choose to draw quick pictures of? Go ahead and do it. You can always pause too. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're going to count by what? Right, by fives. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Cool? Cool. All right, here we go. We're switching over. If you can do times 5, you can do times 10s. You ready? What do you think you're going to count by if we're multiplying by 10? Think about what we just did. When we multiply by 2, we count by 2s. When we multiply by 5, we count by 5s. So when we multiply by 10, you're going to count by 10s. That's right. So here we go. 10 times 7. There's my 7. I'm going to count by 10s. Every time I count by 10s, I'm going to circle one to keep track. Here we go. If you need a minute, pause. Do it on your paper and then play it again to do it with me, okay? Okay, here we go. What are we counting by? 10s, okay? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Can we try another one? I'm going to show you another trick for 10s. It's pretty amazing. Next one is 8 times 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how quick it is too? It doesn't take forever. Okay, count by 10s. Go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Notice this. Here's your trick for 10s. Pretty awesome. Here we go. When you're multiplying by 10, okay, you can simply say 8, 0, 80. Okay, so if I have 4 times 10, it's going to be 4 and a 0, which is 40. If you have 6 times 10, it's going to be the 6 and the 0, 60. I know. You can clap for me if you want to. Good job, Mrs. Green. That's such an amazing strategy. Okay. Isn't that cool? I think so too. Okay. So there's your 10s. Boom. You can do 5s and 10s, no problem, okay? Remember what I showed you on those 5s too. If you want to draw an array or you need to draw things like that, that's fine. But for these, really, you can start doing them with your mental math strategies, okay? So here we go. 11s. Now, we're not really even teaching 11s usually. However, I know you guys are so smart and it's not tricky if you know the trick. Not tricky if you know the trick, okay? So, 1 times 8. Mrs. Green, you said we were doing 11s. That's not even 11. I know. Stick with me. 1 times 8 is what? 8. So 11 times 8 is what? 11 times 8 is 2 8s, which is 88. Because it's 8 times 1, 8 times 1, 88. Look at this one. If you know 9 times 1 is 9, then you know 9 times 11 is 2 9s, which is 99. Sweet, huh? I know. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple story problems, okay? And then you're going to work on your own, okay? All right, so here we go. First story problem here. And I'm going to use some names from kids in my class. Is that okay? Okay, so pay careful attention. It might be you. Ben has, oh, hey, Benru, Ben has, ooh, and maybe Ben Spence is watching too. Two Bens. Ben has 6 crayon boxes. In each box, there are 5 crayons. How many crayons in all? Okay, here's your problem. Now you don't have to write it down, but make sure you take note of it because we're not going to do this together. So either take a pause from the video and do it right now, okay? Or you could take like a screenshot and save it as a picture here so that you know what the problem is. Or you can write it down if you want. Okay, the 2 numbers you're going to be using here are 5 and 6. Use a strategy from today. Okay. Here's the next one. Here we go. Let's see. All right. It says Maggie, hey Maggie, has 10 cupcake tins. Each tin has 7 cupcakes in it. How many cupcakes in all? Okay, here we go. It says Maggie has 10 cupcake tins. Okay, each tin has 7 cupcakes in it. How many cupcakes in all? So here you're multiplying 10 and 7. One more, okay? Ready? Are you sure? Okay. Jack, hey Jack. Jack has 4 cars. Each car has 11 spokes that are broken. How many broken spokes does Jack have? Okay. So again, here's your multiplication problems using our 3 new ones from today. Hopefully you had a chance to either listen to those problems and write them down, or you're going to work on them after you finish watching this video, okay? I'm also just gonna write some multiplication problems around my board, and that will be your final task for today. Mrs. Green, so many things we have to do. Yes, because I want your brains to grow. Okay, so I'm gonna write down some multiplication problems here. Okay, and I just want you to work on them as this finishes up, okay? So do those 3-story problems and then do these multiplication problems as well, okay? And if you're having trouble, make sure you remember all of your different strategies that we kind of went through, okay? And I'm gonna do some of the review ones that Mrs. Demas had as well. So some other facts other than just 10s and 5s and 11s, okay? All right, one more. I'm putting a lot of brain work for you. Is that okay? Yes, Mrs. Green, we love when our brains grow, of course. All right, Here are all your problems. Again, take a screenshot of this or just pause the video and you can do them after you pause them so you can see all of the problems on here, okay? Or you can write them all down and then do them after, okay? So here you go. Pause the video. Okay, that's your task for today. So 3 story problems and then these problems, okay? So when you finish this video, I want you to make sure you're going back and you're practicing your multiplication facts. Remind yourselves of what these answers are called. The answer to a multiplication problem is called the product, okay? 2nd graders, you are so smart. You're ready for 3rd grade. I just know it. I'll talk to you guys later. Good job.